It was a long day of meetings here in Delhi, India for COP7, the Tobacco Control Convention for the World Health Organization. And just as our day was coming to an end, just 5 minutes before the clock struck 6, that's when the president of the conference said that we'd wrap things up, until there was a motion to restrict all further portions of the entire conference to media. You heard me right. They wanted to ban the entire media delegation from the further proceedings that would go down here in Delhi, despite the fact that some of us, including we at the Rebel, traveled over 14 hours to get here, spent a lot of money, and are looking forward to asking a lot of tough questions. Well, I, for one, was shocked and didn't understand what was happening. I've covered a lot of conventions, and this was totally unprecedented for me. But what was even weirder, even stranger, even more absurd was the fact that the motion carried with unanimous consent. No one, not even the Canadian delegation, voted to keep the media, keep the scrutiny, keep the transparency within its walls for the duration of the summit. Well, we're from Canada, and so I wanted to ask the Canadian delegation, those folks who are here in Delhi because of your taxpayer-funded money, why didn't they vote to help keep us inside the walls of the conference for the duration of the week? This is how it went down. There's a whole group of delegation from Canada that did not stand up for transparency or scrutiny of the press. We've just been banned from the duration of the summit. Canada is a country where we believe in freedom of the press, we believe in scrutiny, we believe in free and fair debate. Why does that change when you come here to a World Health Organization summit? No comment. Is there any room for comment or dissent at this organization whatsoever? With respect, Canadian taxpayers have funded everyone's way here. We understood that there was going to be a delegation that represented Canadian interests. Not a single person from the Canadian delegation stood up for Canadian media to be witness to what is going to transpire over the next week. Any comment whatsoever? Canadian delegation, this is not how things work in Canada.
I have no comment.
Any comment?
No comment.
So whose interests are you representing here?
No comment.
Canadian media talking to a Canadian delegation about concerns, about issues that concern the Canadian people.
If you'd like to have a conversation
Yes.
on the Canadian media, I'm happy to do that
Okay.
with you.
Okay, that'd be great if we could.
Not online.
With respect, what's happening behind closed doors this week is going to affect some 6 billion people worldwide, including Canadian taxpayers. Canadian taxpayers have a right to know what policy is being created behind closed doors. The entire organization has just voted unanimously to ban Canadian media. We deserve some answers. I'd like to get them from you, a member of our delegation.
I'm going to try and understand exactly what this decision means, how it plays out, what that looks like, understand what it means for moving forward, understand what the room is for moving forward, and I'd be happy to chat with you again. I can give you my card if you'd like.
I would like that, but no one stood up here and voted against the motion. Is that just commonplace? You don't know what you're voting on and you just go through and see what's going to happen?
Sorry, with all due respect, I'm going to speak with my delegation, and I'm happy to come back to you.
I would like that, and I'd like your card as well.
There you go. I'm Susie. I am the head of the delegation, and as I said,
So Health Canada. So you're with respect, Canadian taxpayers really have sent you here, and you're not prepared to give us an answer as to what's going to be happening behind closed doors in India right now that will affect every Canadian taxpayer at home, and our media, our Canadian media that has flown 14 hours to get here, has now been banned. And Canadian delegations, including those on the public purse, have not stood up to have Canadian media there to provide scrutiny and transparency to this process.
I understand your concerns. As I said, I'm happy to follow up.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. Any further comments?
We'll follow up with you.
I think there was just a motion that was passed that has now restricted further days of this convention from media access. And so as a Canadian media personality, I was just wondering why no one in the Canadian delegation voted against that resolution.
So this decision is similar to previous decisions of the Conference of the Parties. The tobacco industry has been the rationale behind this decision.
Media is not the tobacco industry. Certainly, there's a differentiation between them.
Yeah. So this decision is not new. It's been the decision in previous Conference of the Parties.
So a lack of transparency, a lack of scrutiny with respect to decisions that will affect millions of taxpayers, billions worldwide, but millions in Canada, and there will be no media to provide any sort of scrutiny to that process. And because of precedent, you're okay with that?
The rationale for it is this is a unique treaty, and there's a Article 5.3 in it with respect to tobacco industry interference, because of the role of the tobacco industry in undermining public health policies. So my experience is that in past Conference of the Parties, there's been lots of ability for media to report with respect to proceedings.
The proceedings happen behind the closed doors, and we're on the other side of them. So I beg to differ, and I am familiar with Article 5.3. It allows parties to the conference to essentially create an enemies list ad hoc. And while it's easy for representatives in the delegation and elsewhere to say that it's because of big tobacco, I have absolutely no conflict of interest, sir. I am part of the Canadian media, and I wish to report on what is happening here in a faraway country that will affect the lives and the pocketbooks of Canadians. And we have been banned. What do you say to the Canadian people?
Well, I repeat what I've indicated before, and the tobacco industry has misused its role in terms of undermining public health policies and exerting undue influence on parties, and that's the rationale with respect to this. My understanding is that there are some meetings that will remain open, but not all.
Well, frankly, that answer is not good enough, but this is a body that is larger than myself as a journalist, and so I'll follow the rules because I would like to attend whatever I can while here to bring whatever morsels I can back to the stakeholders that have sent me here off of the taxpayer purse, but who are, of course, taxpayers themselves. Just because the nanny wants us out of here doesn't mean we're going anywhere. No, the rebel media is staying put on the ground here in Delhi until this conference comes to an end. We might not be able to get inside the walls on the days going forward, but we're going to do everything we can to get the answers we're all looking for. For the Rebel.media, I'm Faith Goldie. Like what you just saw? Well, click below and become a subscriber to our YouTube channel for more news you can use.